Guys, what's the crack? Welcome back to the channel. So this Thursday's top tips, I want to share with you how I look after my walking boots. So after a day out in the hills, your boots can get pretty minging, and if left like this it can deteriorate the material that they're made from and also make them not waterproof anymore, and wet, and yeah, not really nice boots to wear. So you spend quite a lot of money on your walking boots, so it's key to look after them. Probably one of the most important pieces of kit that you can have. Now I've got two different types of walking boots. I've got my summer boot, which is full leather, and it has like a Gore-Tex membrane and leather interior in it. And then I've got these winter boots, which are a B2 boot, which are a lot more stiffer and made from, well, what I thought was like a synthetic material, but researching it a bit more, it's actually like a reinforced Kevlar, so not leather. So we've got a few different ways of cleaning these different boots. The first thing we want to do is remove the laces. And as you remove them, it just shows all the dirt that's being held in behind these wee eyelets and everything. So on a proper clean, it's definitely worth getting them shoelaces out. Now I don't do this full deep clean after every hike in the mountains, otherwise I'd be washing them every single day. I'd maybe do this once a month, maybe, depending on the ground that I'm walking on, how wet it is, and what it's, what it is I'm walking on. But I definitely give them a brush down after every walk. So there's a few different ways of cleaning the outside of them. I've got a bucket here of just lukewarm water. It's not hot, not cold, just nice. NikWax do this thing here called footwear cleaning gel. I have used it in the past, but I find just using a brush and some water is just as effective. I suppose if this has like really stubborn dirty marks, that this would help get rid of it. So first things first, let's just give them a quick clean down with just a brush. So just going to start on the outside. Get as much as this off as possible. With using a brush though, it does flick up all around you. Make sure you get into the tread as well, and while you're doing it you can have a good inspect really of the tread to see how it is, if there's any wee tears or cracks or anything in it. So majority of the dirt off there just with a brush, then you just nick your missus's toothbrush and you can get in round all the wee eyelets and everything there. Just having a toothbrush makes it a lot easier to get in round all the wee nooks and crannies and creases and folds. And in round all these wee fasteners for your boot laces. So when you're doing this, make sure you do it in a nice outdoor space, because quite a lot of mess is made. So this boot actually does have quite a bit of staining and stuff going on it, so I'm going to give this NikWax cleaning gel stuff a go, and see if it'll help lift any of that dirt up. And it's just a simple case of pressing it on and rubbing it. And you can start to see the detergent and that coming out. See if we can get these looking like new again. Have you checked out the car and tool hole video that I put up there on Sunday? It's makes me want to go back. I've watched it back a few times now. I'm planning stuff ready for the year ahead. And then again, just use a toothbrush and scrub all that in. I think that bottle might be broke actually. It came out quite a lot came out there. So hopefully that'll lift a bit of the dirt out of them. And I'm going to leave that to sit and work whilst I clean the other one. You can see that they're absolutely stinking. Trudging through bogs and everything the last time we were allowed up in the mountains. Just to get them as dirty as possible for this video, of course. And again, these boots have had a pretty hard winter so far, so I'm going to treat them to some of this cleaning gel to hopefully lift a fair amount of the dirt out. So that's pretty much clean with that cleaning gel. So next thing, I'm just going to rinse them off with a hose. Not a bad job for 5 minutes work, eh? Let them dry off a wee bit, and we'll work on the summer boots next. These ones aren't anywhere near as bad, and you can still see that the water's beating up lovely on the leather there. So these will just take a couple of minutes, quick going over. Just the exact same process as the other boots there. Just getting rid of anything loose on them. And again, just use your toothbrush to get in around all the wee outlets and any creases or folds in the boot. It's particularly important to do this regularly with leather boots. As the leather ages or dries out, it can crack. So after you've cleaned your leather boots, it actually says to apply this waterproofing wax for leather boots when they're actually wet. So with the Kevlar and synthetic boots, I let them dry a wee bit before I apply the treatment. But this one's applying to wet boots. These are really easy to use. They've got like a sponge top on them, and it's just a case of pressing it on, and it breaks like a seal, and just coat the whole boot in this waxy stuff. Paying particular attention to any seals or seams. Like I said, make sure to get into all the wee crevices and cracks there, because that's where you find that the leather will dry out and crack really easy in around all the eyelets for your laces. Leave that for a couple of minutes to soak in and do the other boot. And you buy a boot for the waterproofness of it, so I mean, why not treat it and keep them waterproof and just prolong the life of them. Like I said before, with the soles, while you're doing this, you're just checking for any wee nicks or cuts or anything in the leather. Just inspecting the whole boot really, and make sure it's good enough to be used. And so I'm going to leave both of them for a few minutes. And for these boots then, what I've got is this fabric and leather proof. So if you're not sure what your boots are made of, if you go onto the website of the manufacturer, it'll tell you. And with the likes of these Scarpa boots, they actually recommend what NikWax stuff to be using to treat them. And again, all the NikWax stuff has loads of instructions on how to use it. This one's actually more like a spray that you put on and just wipe off. So just a real fine spray over the whole boot. these leather boots in, I'm just going to wipe off any excess with a wee towel here. Not going to rub too much of it off, just like where it's pulling and stuff, and that gets absorbed then into the towel, and you're just helping spread it around a wee bit more as well. Next thing I'm going to do is actually take out the insoles and move them indoors to dry out, so I'll join you in the house in a few minutes. So just a nice quiet space in the house, out of the way from everything, and just give them a bit of space to dry out. No soap or anything like that, and then just rub them against each other in warm water. You'll find that the laces will absorb some of the water. And that's what your boots kind of do as well when they're not waterproof anymore. They'll absorb that water up into them and make them quite heavy, and make them quite cold quickly as well. And just squeeze as much of that water out as possible and get them all your rinse off. So the boots are drying off, the insoles are out, the laces are hung up. There's not much more you can do, just leave them for overnight, a day really, just to dry out properly. Avoid putting them near any kind of heat source whatsoever, so like away from radiators, fires. Don't use hair dryers or anything like that to dry them out. If the insides of them got a wee bit wet when you're hosing them down or cleaning them, or when you're out in hills, one thing you can do is put like rolled up newspaper, or if you're worried about the ink coming off the newspaper and stuff like that, you can wrap that newspaper in like a bit of kitchen roll and stuff it down inside, and it'll just help speed up the process of drying them out. But the best thing you can do is just leave them be, and just let them dry naturally on their own. Like all the other NikWax stuff that I use for my kit, I really recommend it for your boots as well. It's the only thing that I've used on them, and that's what the manufacturer recommends. So if the manufacturer is recommending to use NikWax to protect your boots, then it's got to be pretty good stuff, eh? Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please give it a wee thumbs up, it really does help. And stick around for more Thursday top tips. Have a good one guys, cheers.